So recently, one of my followers messaged me on TikTok. I always try to check my messages because a lot of times followers will provide me with good content. And this particular follower had a crazy story. He lives and works in Ontario, Canada, and this just happened within the last couple days. He'd explained that his job brought him to Eagle Lake, which is located right here. But as he was working, it wouldn't take long for him to notice something odd. He'd noticed that the Canadian military had been flying over the lake for hours, which is weird because the nearest base was over 5 hours away. So he couldn't help but do a little digging, and what he would find out? Absolutely crazy. After talking with a few of the locals, he'd discover that people were being bitten by a giant lake serpent. He was even shown pictures of attacks that had happened in the last couple of years. And in the same time frame, there's been 1 documented death and 3 to 4 undocumented deaths. So down the rabbit hole I went, and here's what I'd find. The sightings would start back in 1805 when 4 fishermen were in Lake Ontario near Kingston. This is when they would spot what they thought was an overturned rowboat bobbing in and out of the water. So naturally, they would begin approaching it to see if they could help. But as they neared the object, it would begin ominously coming towards them. The beast would soon be close enough that they could see it was part of a much larger creature. While rowing for their life, they would notice its massive eyes sitting on a much larger head. These fishermen estimated it to be 60 to 80 feet long and as big around as a barrel. They would eventually make it to shore, and the beast would swim back and forth, taunting them. This story would go down in history, and from then on, a number of sightings would occur, each having different descriptions of what they encountered. And when these European settlers asked the local natives what it was, they referred to it as Gasiendata, meaning the water dragon. In the Buffalo Morning Express in 1897, it is said someone captured one by hook and line, just off of Tompkins Point. The harrowing battle took place over a 7-day stretch as they pulled the rope in foot by foot. They'd refer to it as a leviathan, and it measured over 17 feet long. They stated that the body was encased in a shell that was soft and pliable, and they weighed it on coal scales at 443 pounds. Its head 3 feet long, and it contained the jaws of a monster. Its tail 4 feet long and feather-shaped, and in the midst of its back was an 18-inch hump that, when cleaned off, glimmered in the sun. The serpent had 6 fins or flippers, each measuring at 32 inches, and they had claws. Sightseers were driving from miles around to see it, and supposedly Dr. D. Burrow would have it mounted, but no one has ever located it. After this, there would be a number of sightings in the 1900s. Part 2. And the sightings would claim that the beast ranged anywhere from 40 feet all the way up to 150 feet. Some of the witnesses would claim that it was blue in color, while others would say it was brown, male, female. And one of the last sightings that took place until recently was 1970. After that, it lied dormant for almost 40 years. That is, until a Reddit user would claim to sight one near Toronto Harbor. User Javantor would state that he and his friends were at a concert on the night of September 5th, 2011 at the Toronto docks. They would describe it as being black, maybe 2 to 3 feet wide, and it slithered over the surface but never jumped out of the water, exposing its large fin. They saw it 3 times in the 30 minutes before the concert. Then once again, it would lie dormant for 10 more years, until recently, when it would turn up at Eagle Lake. Now originally, most of the sightings had taken place in Lake Ontario, but apparently locals had been spotting them in Eagle Lake for years. Now Eagle Lake is mostly known for the muskie or lake sturgeon, which are some of the largest freshwater fish you can catch, and they even have been known to bite people once in a while. But this follower stated he looked at pictures of the recent bites and muskie bites, and the recent bites are 2 to 3 times larger than any muskies seen. And even though Eagle Lake is quite a distance from any of the Great Lakes, they do actually connect. So my theory is, since Eagle Lake is full of these large freshwater fish, the beast relocates there to feed. And they may even do this for years, getting ready to breed or hibernate. And what's even more interesting, the local natives, the Algonquin and Seneca mythology states that they came in on a meteor, and that they've been here for thousands of years, roaming the Great Lakes. I'll leave you with this video. Let me know what you think.